This is exercise 911. A model boat bobs up and down in a pond so that its height h centimeters above the bottom of the pond at time t seconds is given by h equals a cos bt plus c. Redraw this graph, lowering it so that the equation becomes h equals a cos bt. Now guys, what this has the effect of doing, look at this, okay? If I do a graph, okay, and this first graph is y equals cos x, okay, y equals cos x, we can see that it goes up and down above the x-axis. If I do cos x plus 10, y equals cos x, and I put a number at the end like plus 10, look what happens. Basically, it's all the way up here, and you can see that it's going around the number 10. Do you see that? If I said cos x minus 2, what would happen, guys? It'd go underneath below, and it'd still have the same wave pattern. So in effect, the presence of this value at the end, it causes it to be higher and lowered. Now, we already know basically, where does it, the middle point is where, guys? The in-between point is at 10, isn't it? Yeah? So this, in effect, means that the C value is 10. Okay? Now, next thing we got to identify is the period, okay? So, it does ask me to redraw the graph starting off, so I will start with question 1. So you can see if I was to trace this, like so, as best I can, obviously. Now, what I can do next is I can move that down, and so that it's above and below the axis like that. So that's what they're basically asking you to do, to lower it down. Okay? Redraw the equation, lowering it so that equation becomes h equals a cos bt. That's basically what I did there. Maybe just a bit lower.
So how low do you know it to go?
It should be going around the x-axis because there's no c value at the end. See, this value here hires it above the x-axis and can lower it below. Now, write down the period and range of this graph, okay? Lads, what's the range? Now, the range of the new graph is going to be, this is from 9 to 11, isn't it? So, the range of the old graph is 9 bracket 11. The range of this one is going to be... Oh, sorry guys. I got to redo this. It's going to be 1 to minus 1. So, the range of this one will be minus 1 to 1. Okay. Now, its period is what, guys? What can we say about the period? It repeats itself every 2 seconds. Okay, find the value of A and the value of B. Okay. Now, I'm trying to think about this now. Okay, guys, just give me a second with this. Now, guys, it goes, I was asked a question there, it's like, how would you go about drawing it out again? Well, what you'd have to do is basically, you look at the amplitude of the, Dave, you look at the amplitude, it goes from 9 to 11, which is worth 2. That means you go up 1 and down 1. Up 1 and down 1, okay? And basically you basically mark it's the same point here. That's number 1 is the lowest point, number 2 is the upper point, number 3 is the lower point, number 4 is the upper point. Dan, put together. Okay. So that's how you go about drawing it, okay? Write down the period and range of this graph, okay? So if the period is 2, now when it's 2, what does that mean? It means t equals 2 makes it go 360 degrees. Do you understand that? Because cos repeats itself every 360 degrees. So basically BT or B times 2 has to represent 360. The reason for that is because it takes 2 seconds to do a full revolution. This means that B times 2 is 360. This means B is 180 degrees. Is that the answer in the back? B equals 180. Okay. Find the value of A. The value of A is always the amplitude, how far you go above and below the line. A therefore has to be 1. Is B 180? Yeah. So 180 and 1. For what values of T is the boat going down? So the boat is on its way down. So let's figure this out. Okay?
There's A is 2. Yeah.
A is 2. Shh. So A is 1 because it goes up 1 to 11 and down 1 to 9. And this graph on the bottom will mimic it from going from -1 to 1. Once you figure out these, you can figure out these values first and then draw your graph. You'd be allowed to do that if you wanted. So what you could do is you could change your whole function to this. You could be H equals cos 180 times T. Okay? And then you could go up in between, you could go from 0 to 2 starting off, okay? And what you could do is this. You could do f of x, so you need your table function. And you get cos 180x. Cos 180x from 0 to 2. You can go up in point ones. And what you'd end up drawing is this graph here. And that would give you, remember the blue graph from earlier? That would give you the blue graph from earlier. Is that right? Okay. For what value of T is the boat going downwards? Okay. So, right at the beginning, at T equals 0, it's on its way down all the way to T equals 1. So in between 0 and 1, it's going down. Then in between 2 and 3, it's also going down. And in between 4 and 5, also going down. So that's your answer there. It's on its way down. How high was the boat above the bottom of the pond after 4.5 seconds? So what you need to do here is you go to 4.5 seconds, which is in between 4 and 5. You go up, and as we know, it's going to be 10 meters above the pond. Is that right? 10 meters?
Yeah. How do you know it's going to be 10 meters?
Well, I used the graph.
No,
I go to 4.5 seconds.
No, you know it's going to be 10 meters.
Because it says 10 here, along the line.
No,
so
no, I thought you meant it. No, you did that.
How high above the...
It's going to be 10 meters, but you haven't measured it out.
I had, because there's a line going directly across.
No,
whatever time would be must be...
It's 4.5 seconds.
No,
It goes up, cuts its graph. The graph currently reads the point 4.5, 10. You go across the horizontal to 10. This means after 4.5 seconds, it's 10 meters tall. Wait a second. What is okay? Population of squirrels has been monitored each month for 2 years. The graph shows the results modelled using the equation S equals A cos BT plus C, where S represents thousands of squirrels and T represents months from the start of the recording of the data. Write down the period and range of the graph. Here's the peak, here's the next peak. The period is 12 months. The range goes from 50,000 squirrels down to 20,000. So it's going to be 20,000 bracket 50,000. So the squirrel population is basically the range goes from 20,000 up to 50,000. By lowering the graph so that it is centered about the t-axis or otherwise, deduce the value of A and the value of B. So, once again, what we have here, this equation at the start. Now we're going to show you how to get the equation. The C value is your current middle value. It's in between, what did we say it was? In between 50,000 and, so that means 35,000 is the middle point. Okay? So that means the C value is what, guys? C value is 35, because that's how high and low it goes. Okay? Now, we're next going to figure out what is B and A. Okay? A is the amplitude. So A is going to be, anybody? 15. It is, because remember the last question where I put 4 cos theta in, it goes 4 up and 4 down. So this one goes 15 up and 15 down, which makes it 15. Okay, so A equals 15. 15 cos BT. Okay, now we have to find out what B is. So remember, it completes its first full revolution in how many months? 12. Okay, so when T equals 12, this means that it's done 360 degrees, one revolution. So this means that 12B, which is the angle, must equal 360. This means that B equals 30 degrees. The formula is now 15 cos 30 T. That's when you lower it down here. Now, you could be asked, by lowering the graph so it's centered about the t-axis or otherwise, deduce the value of A and B. You don't have to do it. You can do it or otherwise. So we've already done it or otherwise, haven't we? Because we figured out that it's 15, the C value is 35. We figured out that B is 30 and A is 15. Once again, A is how far you go up and below the center line. Okay? B is how much you're multiplying your T values by. To get that, we say that the period is 12. Because the period is 12, it means T is 12. 12B must be 360 degrees. B then turns out to be 30 degrees. Okay? The C value is where our middle line is. How far it goes above and below that line. Okay, so that means C was a 35. On how many occasions was the population 42,000 squirrels? So what we do here is we can mark out 42 on the graph as best we can. And how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. For how many months per year was the population less than 25,000? Okay, so less than 25,000. So this time we're going to go to 25,000, which is here. Now, the problem is with this one is, if you're to, I'm actually going to make the full diagram a lot bigger just for a second, just really zone in on the on this part here. Okay, you go to 25, and the problem is here is that it doesn't start 4 on the dot, does it? It starts around, let's call it 4.4, and it ends around
7.9.
Sorry?
7.8.
7.8 ish. Okay, so this means that sorry, not 7.8 because it's double values, because that's 7, so it looks like 7.8 but actually be something maybe a bit smaller, about 7.6. okay, over here it starts around, can anybody tell me? 16.4 and ends around 19.6. Right, so that'll be roughly 2 months worth. And this one here, sorry, it'd be roughly 3 months worth and 3 months worth, which will give me 6 months. Okay. Okay, so it'd be roughly 6 months, alright? I disagree with the answer in the back of the book. Now guys, there's another way of doing this. Okay? Do you want the other way of doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. The other way of doing it is purely by maths, okay? And what we're going to say is S is meant to be 25, correct? We can find out exactly when it equals 25, and I'll show you how. 25 equals, what's A value again? 15 cos 30 T, and then what's the plus at the end? Plus 35. Now look at this, okay? Now guys, this is very important as a backup. Take away 20 minus 35 minus 10. Okay? So minus 10 equals 15, 30 times t. Okay? Next thing. What's minus 10 over 15? Minus 10 over 15? Minus 2 over 3 equals cos. Sorry, cos 30. Just give me seconds. Okay, so equals cos 30t. Okay, so equals cos 30t. Now guys, what we're next going to do is we're going to cos inverse it. We're going to separate the cos and the 30t. Please remember the 30t is the angle, so we're going to bring it over and cos inverse it. So what's cos inverse 2 over minus 2 over 3? Okay, now please remember, we actually got to do this using ASTC. Okay, so this is ASTC. Now remember what we do for this. We always take the positive value. Okay, cos is negative in which two quadrants? S and T. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, S and T. So what we can do next is cos inverse this. So cos inverse 2 over 3. Make sure it's in degrees mode.
131.
What is it?
131.8.
Okay, so what did we say that is? 48.18? 48.19? It's alright, I know that. Okay, so the reference number or the reference angle is 48.19. We're doing rules for S and T. So it's going to be 180 minus 48.19 and 180 plus 48.19. Now just bear with me here, okay? I know this is a bit on the long side. So what's the answer for the two of them?
131.
Sorry? 131.81 and the other one? 228.19. Okay guys, add on 360 to both of those values to get the next one in line, because it happens twice. Because how do I know it happens twice? It happens after, remember 360 is located here, and then it goes all the way up to about 540, doesn't it? Oh sorry, that's another 360. So it goes up to 720. So I'm just going to get two more values to go with that. So where's my two other values? Add on 360. 491.81.
9.
What about that one? 81. And then 228.19 plus 360. Sorry? 88.19. Now guys, here's the trick, okay? All these angles have to be equal to what? 30 t. Divide each of these by 30 because they all equal 30 t. So divide each of these by 30 and look what happens. So guys, divide each of these by 30 and what you get. Just give me the times. What's the first one? 4 point? Call it 4.4. Where's the next one?
7.6.
Sorry?
7.6.
7.6. Now guys, look at this. Remember we did this earlier? 4.4. And look, 7.6. Exactly what we predicted. Okay, go again. 16? 16.4 located here. And 19 point. So look, we're just after proving the back of the book's technically wrong here, because we're just after proving that there's 3.2 months in between here and here, and there's 3.2 months in between here and here. And that makes how many months is it underneath in total? 6.4 months. I think it only says 3. I don't know why. Oh, sorry, per year. There we go. So it's 3.2 months per year. So this makes it 3 months per year. Perfect. In that case, guys, technically speaking, you didn't need these two angles. You only needed the first two. Okay. So that's it per year. 6 months in total, or 3 months per year.